first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. New Jeep Gladiators receive 20% off now at Cars Plus. Named the best vehicle for adventure in 2024. Get your Jeep Gladiator today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
They vandalized 9 of our school buses.
The wheels in an investigation into who vandalized several school buses are moving as security parked at Jutnya Station keeps their eyes peeled.
There's scrutiny now. There's protection now.
Coming up, our one-on-one interview with the attorney hired to prosecute former Governor Ralph Torres' case. I'm Tomas Manglonia on Saipan, speaking with him as he leads anti-corruption efforts.
One man's heroic deeds are being recognized after a resolution is put forth by the 37th Guam legislature. I'm Katie Azon with the story coming up.
Hafidang, good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day.
Well, all aboard the bus for summer school, or is it thieves taking a detour, throwing a wrench in bus operations after breaking into several of them Tuesday morning?
The community is now asked to keep their eyes on the road to help give these suspects a one-way ticket to accountability.
The wheels on the bus may go round, and so have vandals targeting the Jutnya bus substation. At around 6 a.m. Tuesday, bus drivers at the southern station noticing their yellow fleet had been tampered with, discovering cut wires to stereo systems in some buses, and even missing tally counters to keep track of student riders. Linda Ibanez, Deputy Director of the Department of Public Works, reversing through the chain of events.
When our bus operation personnel entered into the substation, they noticed the gate, the locks were missing and cut off. So apparently they vandalized 9 of our school buses.
The thieves even bustling away with tools, bus accessories, and the hard-earned personal items belonging to drivers. Jutnya Mayor Bill Kinga hoping this is the last stop for the suspects.
You know, to whoever did this, please be mindful that these buses are for maybe your brothers or your sisters or your family members, you know. Please, if you know of something about this, please come to our office, my office, and report this vandalism.
The incident comes on the heels of nearly a handful of break-ins to public schools reported just last week. The search for those responsible is ongoing. Meantime, Public Works has security roving and monitoring the station. DPW also plans to beef up surveillance by installing CCTV cameras at all substations. The police investigation is also underway. Anyone with information is asked to call Guam Police or make a report to Guam Crime Stoppers.
In an exclusive interview, CNMI Special Prosecutor James Kingman says there is scrutiny and now protection in the Marianas.
Regional correspondent Tomas Manglonia speaks with the attorney prosecuting former Governor Ralph Torres and leading anti-corruption efforts.
CNMI Special Prosecutor James Kingman says his work is a mission.
The disappointments and heartbreak that have been here for decades is not something that this place is doomed to repeat. Things can get better, but I can't do it alone. I'm an outsider. I'm here to coach and facilitate.
The Harvard Law grad from Corsicana in East Texas, which has a population of 20,000, moved to Saipan a year ago. He's prosecuting the criminal case against former Governor Ralph Torres and leads the Interagency Public Integrity Task Force under the Attorney General's office.
I've spoken with so many folks who really believe in change and really believe in letting this place be what it can be, but they're timid. They're worried that there's going to be repercussions. And I just want to express that you don't need to worry about that anymore. There's scrutiny now. there's protection now.
KUAM asked Kingman for comment about the former governor's case since it has been over a year since the corruption trial he was brought out here to prosecute was set to begin.
I've not seen progress on a case like this be at this pace ever before.
Kingman has also personally voiced his views on CNMI issues.
And if I can do anything to help make it a little bit easier for a shift into a little bit more accountable, responsive governance, so that way the islands can be better, I think that that's an important thing for me to be doing with my life.
Tomas Maglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
The defendants accused in the killing of an Army veteran are set to have their day in court this week.
But 2 of them were released from prison after prosecutors called for the charges to be dismissed. Prison records show Brandon Chandler and Jason Manabusan were released from the Department of Corrections. This after a Superior Court judge granted the prosecution's request for a dismissal without prejudice. Co-defendants Cynthia Kanata, Jordan Babauta, and Gregory Reese remain on the hook for their alleged roles in the murder of Jason Siswico. Jury selection and trial is set to begin tomorrow before Judge Arthur Barcenas. Well, one man's heroic deeds are being recognized.
KUAM brought you the exclusive interview with Patrick Nkenko, who stopped an erratic driver. That driver also turned out to be involved in violent gang activity. KUAM intern Katie Azon reports.
It was this viral video that had many calling Patrick Nkenko a local hero.
It's instinctual for me. I don't know, if you see something wrong, I was always taught, if you see something wrong, just do something about it.
Nkenko speaking with KUAM hours after his takedown in Dededo, stopping an erratic driver who nearly hit him and others on the road. The suspect, identified by authorities as DJ Tosio, a man wanted in connection to violent gang activity.
It was super instinctual. As growing up, I was always just kind of like that. I'm the oldest of 6, so it was natural for me to just take over and just take lead and just go from there.
And 10 days after that encounter,
on behalf of the people of Guam, recognize Patrick James Flores Nkenko for his extraordinary bravery and civic responsibility by apprehending an assailant who was later found to be wanted by the Guam Police Department for multiple crimes.
senators gave Nkenko the recognition he deserves. Guam Crime Stoppers Chair James McDonald also congratulating Nkenko, awarding him with McDonald's restaurant coupons as a small token of appreciation.
We want to thank you because, you know that Guam is experiencing an epidemic of meth, and now we're talking about fentanyl. And wherever there's drugs, there's weapons.
Nkenko's family also joining him on this special day. Still, he remains humble, despite many calling him a good Samaritan turned local hero.
Thank you for your time. In my opinion, there was nothing heroic. It was just my instincts, and that's pretty much all it came down to. That's really all it really is at the end of the day for me.
A hero who will also be getting a Good Samaritan Award from the Attorney General this Friday. Katie Azon reporting for KUAM News.
Well, more Decision 2024 news coming up.
Plus, the 4th of July typically brings fireworks, but is it safe and is it allowed?
Welcome to Kmart, your 24-hour superstore since 1995. Always there for you day or night. At Kmart, we're committed to offering you an extensive selection of products at prices you won't find anywhere else. From the essential to the exceptional, our aisles are alive with possibility. Bloom with confidence, style, and savings this spring. Discover stylish clothing that fits your budget without compromising on quality. From trendy pieces to timeless classics, find the perfect look for every member of your family without spending a fortune. Then pamper yourself with our selection of essentials, from nourishing shampoos to rejuvenating beauty products and soaps. And let imagination soar with our selection of toys and games for kids of all ages. At Kmart, experience the thrill of discovery as you explore our aisles, filled with a variety of quality products that cater to your every need. From groceries to home goods to outdoor essentials, we are the ultimate one-stop shop. Dive into an unparalleled shopping experience where quality, variety, and savings await at every turn. Shop smart, save big at Kmart, your 24-hour superstore.
Docomo Pacific is on a mission. Whether you're a small business or a large enterprise, we believe fast internet's no longer just an option, it's a necessity. That's why we're committed to bringing fiber to everyone. As your business needs expand, we're working to bridge the digital divide by making strong, swift connections scalable to any business, ensuring you have the connectivity required and then some. Building for tomorrow's needs today. Fiber for everyone. Docomo Pacific Business.
Well, as the island gears up to celebrate 4th of July, fireworks safety reminders are in order.
Authorities chiming in, clarifying the do's and the don'ts with the recent legislation of consumer-grade fireworks. Mitsuki Hirayama has more.
America's Independence Day is this week. The celebration has local authorities reminding the community that while consumer-grade fireworks are legal, the dangers still exist. Guam Police Chief Stephen Ignacio.
There's always dangers when you're dealing with explosives, and the fireworks is a form of explosives. So, it's still, she should not be using fireworks at home or in a private setting.
While the Guam Fire Department continues to iron out the specifics in the new law,
the issue that we are currently having is the wholesale and resale of fireworks.
Fire Lieutenant Nick Garrido says their stance is in line with National Fire Protection Association standards, which warns that fireworks are not safe in the hands of consumers. GFD summer intern Elias Chang shares some important safety tips.
The only safe way to view fireworks is to attend a professional show. It is important to know that fireworks are not safe in the hands of consumers. Fireworks cause thousands of injuries each year.
We should note homemade fireworks are still illegal, so think twice before making your own. Just this past New Year's Eve, 8 people were injured by improvised fireworks in Jigo, 4 of them children. Families should also be mindful of sparklers, which burn at a high temperature enough to melt glass.
Always, if you are playing with any type of fireworks or utilizing anything, even to include sparklers, please do not point them at any particular individual. Point them away in an open area, making sure that the area around you also is free of debris, because those sparks could cause a fire. Additionally, be mindful of the children that are around you.
For safer ideas to celebrate America's birthday this year, just visit this story on KUAM.com. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Thanks, Suki. Well, forging relationships in the nation's capital to benefit the people of Guam.
Delegate James Moylan delivering his congressional address from inside the Guam Congress building Monday night.
Reflecting on his first term and 18 months in office as Guam's delegate.
We brought the idea of Inafa Malik to the nation's capital at a time when it was greatly needed.
Congressman James Moylan stood before leaders from the 3 branches of government and before other dignitaries in Session Hall to deliver what he's been doing for the island in Washington, D.C.
There is tension in the region, and Guam plays, just as we have historically, a pivotal role in this process. This is why my number one priority in Congress is to protect our community and our island. And as a member of the House Armed Services Committee, I have made the case to the federal government that Guam, our people, and our nation must be protected at all costs.
He also spoke on efforts underway to assist veterans and to combat drugs.
The victories we are seeing in multiple legislative vehicles are not common for territorial delegates. While we aren't securing just trees and buffaloes for Guam, but we are securing billions and opportunities for our island, and we have just started.
Moreland is the lone Republican seeking re-election this year. The three Democrat opponents each responding to his address. Candidate Ginger Cruz stating in part, "Tonight should have been about how Guam's delegate will make a difference in the lives of everyday people, but maybe that was too much to expect." Senator Amanda Shelton thanked Moreland, stating, "More work must be done at the congressional level to encourage our families to live, work, and raise their children in Guam through policies that prioritize additional resources." Former Congressman Mike Nicholas, in short, states, "It's always good to hear about what's happening for Guam. It's just unfortunate that we have lost more than we have gained since Moreland took office, and that is something that needs to change."
KUAM is your one-stop for your Decision 2024 election news for Guam and the CNMI.
This week we have more senatorial candidates speaking to the voters. Watch a new episode of The Hub on Wednesday following KUAM News Primetime. This week we had scheduled under the Democratic ticket incumbent Roy Kanata and newcomer Angela Santos, along with Republican incumbent Jesse Lujan. The three, however, confirmed they were not able to make it due to various reasons. So, sitting down with us to take your questions will be Republican incumbent Tom Fisher and newcomer Shelly Calvo. The Hub premieres tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV8 immediately following primetime. Now for a look at your world at home.
Here's a view captured from Gun Beach.
Ooh, let's go swimming.
I'm Amanda Shelton, and I approve this message. Guam is my lifelong home. It is the heartbeat of my identity. It is this island and the years of shared experiences that have shaped my values and fueled my commitment to public service. I take this step forward not as an individual, but as a representative of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the people of Guam. Today, more than ever, we need someone in Washington who will speak for everyone in Guam. I'll use my legislative experience to advocate strategic initiatives in areas of health, the economy, infrastructure, and transportation that reflect the changes our island is going through. Together, we can achieve recognition and results that make it possible for Guam to thrive like never before.
Paid for by Shelton for Congress, Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
Shelly Calvo, successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, proud mother and grandmother. Shelly's broad experience spans from Silicon Valley management to chairing Guam's Homeless Coalition. As our senator, Shelly will create career opportunities for our next generation, pull people out of poverty, and will vigorously protect Guam's children from predators. Shelly is equal parts passion and compassion. If bringing values and unity to the legislature is important to you, please vote Shelly Calvo for senator.
I'm Shelly Calvo, and I approve this message.
I'm Tony Atta, and I approve this message.
Tony Atta produced quality legislation as a senator. Laws that prioritize our needs and keep our people safe. His Castle Doctrine legislation is the strongest law of the land, which allows us to protect our loved ones at home. But Tony's been serving our community long before he became a senator. So when people say, "I'm glad Tony's back in politics," we say, no, Tony never left leadership. Vote Tony Atta for senator. It's time to bring back the quality.
Want a real taste of New York? The classic New York-style pizza offers a big, bold taste that's a Guam favorite. It's handmade with 16 inches of foldable crust, a sweet marinara sauce, and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, classic New York pizza is only $12.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a classic New York pizza party. Each pizza is just $12.99 for carryout. Classic New York-style pizza, so close you can taste it. Only at your Island Pizza Hut.
You know, life shouldn't be this hard for those who live here. I have a vision for lower prices on airfare, more affordable housing, better health care, and moving veteran services from Hawaii to Guam. I will get Guam a role in the economic expansion in the Asian Pacific, with more federal support for infrastructure, a 100% screen to stop illegal drugs, and new high-paying jobs. We can turn Guam's unique position into lasting prosperity. I'm Ginger Cruz. I approve this ad, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Is there anything more indicative of the months between school years than playing baseball? The boys and girls of summer are back with a record number of Island youngsters honing their skills in the field and on the plate at the Get Better Baseball Academy.
8 years old up to 14 years old, and then beginners all the way from kids that have maybe played for 5 years. This year we have almost 40 kids, so hopefully it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
But while the coaching staff is ensuring all skills for the sport are fine-tuned, there is an intangible that's a particular challenge for this age group.
Attention span.
And while technique can be taught, measured, and refined, the camp also introduces intangible talents that every athlete needs to have in their tool belt.
You need to understand that you're not going to be great all at once. You're not going to be smart right away. You got to work at it, so that's the big thing, is just you got to drive it home. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Definitely, especially the very beginners, because they come in with basically zero knowledge, and then obviously you can see through the playing, throwing and catching. Obviously there needs to be a lot of work, but you can definitely see, for us as coaches, we can see a big improvement from day 1 to day 5.
And an essential ability to have was confidence, which translates to every level and any aspect of life away from the dugout.
Well, and that's kind of like what we're trying to instill in them, is like, even if you're a beginner or if you played 5 years, the big thing is you still have to practice. Even the guys that are getting paid millions of dollars, the pro athletes are getting paid millions of dollars. Go ahead. They practice. They do the same drills, same things. So it's all about, repetition, building that confidence, knowing that they can do it, but then they have to go home and practice it too. And then again, it's about teamwork, encouraging others. It's all about encouragement.
And then, as all great baseball programs do, the athletes were treated to a righteous pizza party. And proving they'd grown as athletes, these little sluggers made sure to shout out the people that are helping them every day to get better.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3, thank you, Coach! 1, 2, 3, thank you, Coach!
Island Cancer Center has the only state-of-the-art Halcyon Linear Accelerator, providing radiation treatments in the Asia-Pacific region. We are excited to be back up and running after Typhoon Mawar. We have been providing the highest quality patient-centered care for 14 years and will continue to do so. Why? Because we love what we do. Island Cancer Center, our family treating your family. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 671-646-3363.
We start with her and her local business. We start with them, celebrating 30 years. We start with big.
Welcome to Dusatani. How may I assist you today?
Keep doing your best. Congratulations.
Small and growing businesses. We start with global connections and make them local. At GTA, we start with your business.
Everyone has something or someone they're saving for. From saving for your future college graduate to a down payment on your first home. Whatever you're saving for, Bank of Hawaii is here to help. For a limited time, you can earn up to 3.95% APY with our Bank Ohana Savings Special when you deposit $25,000 of new money into a Bank Ohana Bonus Rate Savings Plus account. So trust your savings to one of America's most trusted companies, Bank of Hawaii.
This is a bag, but for Steve, this bag gives him food cred. Because now everyone knows that when they have that craving, or they're just looking for the perfect deal, well, They just need to follow Steve.
Follow him all the way to the new McTerry Deluxe at McDonald's. It's an all-beef patty smothered with teriyaki sauce topped with lettuce and tomato on a sesame seed bun. For a limited time, price and participation may vary.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
In this week's Giving Every Tuesday, women at a Topeka, Kansas prison are making quotes for cancer patients. It's part of an intensive trauma-based recovery program for inmates who are former addicts. The program focuses on healing from the inside out through classes, group therapy, and crocheting. 30 inmates have made 106 blankets they will donate to the KU Cancer Center. Most of the inmates will learn to crochet from each other.
It definitely helps with our mental health also. It gives us something to do. It's another way for us to kind of meditate and just do something for other people and not just focus on ourselves.
They're all connecting with one another as they crochet. They get to practice a lot of the social skills that we teach them.
The program also helps inmates find housing and therapy once they get released.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Half a day, everybody. I'm Jace. That's Jen behind the wall right now running the graphics, and we are bringing you News Bites because we all do this together. You know what? And speaking of together, make sure to go to the art exhibit. It is a family affair. Bring the whole family down. It's an art exhibit on Saturday the 13th. It is presented by Micronesia Climate Change Alliance and Hitali Texan Tanay Anibu, celebrating Indigenous art and Native land stewardship. It is going to be awesome, free to the public, and like I said, everybody is welcome. So bring the whole family, bring your classmates, bring everybody from church, bring the whole crew, because you're going to have a really good time. Speaking of good time and bringing the whole crew, our friends at Father Duenas the Friars are having their annual alumni basketball tournament. I've already heard that the games are crazy, and that's a good thing. And I've heard that they also always sing the Friars alma mater every single night, which is equally awesome. It happens through July 19th, so you got a lot of opportunities to watch some really, really good basketball. Friar Brotherhood is alive and well, no doubt there. It is the sporting event of the summer. Can't wait to go check it out myself. I did the story. I'm going to go watch some good basketball. Go 92, by the way. That's my class. All right. And the Saipan Chamber of Commerce is holding their July membership meeting on Wednesday the 3rd at Hibiscus Hall. They will talk about various aspects affecting the private sector in the cinema, including the military. That's what's happening on News Bites. Whew, a lot of stuff going on. So get involved.
It's time now for birthday wishes.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutout submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy 4th birthday to Drew Untalan Bamba, the sweetest, loving, thoughtful, brave little warrior who has been through so much in his little life. The strongest boy we all know and adore. May God forever bless you. Forever. That's a long time. Forever. And may your every wish come true. Absolutely. We love you with all our hearts. Say Mommy, Daddy, Dre, Michaela, and the entire family. Drew, we over here at KUM and Cold Stone Creamery wish you a happy 4th birthday as well. And Glenn Lujan, happy birthday to a loyal, kind-hearted person who has made life great just by being in it. Glenn, we love you long time. And Hafa Zu. Absolutely. Drew and Glenn, we hope you have great Tuesdays and great birthdays. Not just good, great.
Happy birthday to all of you celebrating out there today. That's your primetime show. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Have a safe evening and stay beautiful.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Half a day, everybody. Welcome back to House to Home, and the show we have where I am the only person in the Zoom room right now where I am not a professional licensed realtor. Liz Duenas and Gina Campos both are. They are Remax Diamond Realty Guam. They are a service company whose life mission, as has been going on between them, 60 years of realty experience, has been to serve you. So, ladies, I wanted to talk about something. What is the essence of being a realtor. And sometimes in professions, I know I get this in my role as a broadcaster, sometimes the motive for going into a certain line of work and then what you actually do for a living and then the public perception of what that role is can often be, there's a little bit of a like grayness there and everything like that.
A disconnect.
But disconnect. I was also going to say misconception, but by the way, also misconception was the name of my third grade teacher. So, you know, whatever.
Misconception.
Yeah, misconception. She's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about that. What is the perception from in your opinion of how the community like sees you? Are you guys just like used car salespeople, or are you guys just in it for commissions, or are you guys like advisors? Some people see you as lawyers, some people as, you know, whatever, but break it down for me.
Check all of the above.
There you go. Psychologist, perhaps, grief counselor,
every day.
Loan officer. We've talked about that too.
No, I quit that job.
Okay, so what do you typically get when people ask you what you do, and probably more to the point, what do you not do?
You know, I want to touch, you said you wanted to introduce, and you said something about RE/MAX Diamond Realty, a service company. That is the misconception, that we're not a service company, that realtors are not in the service industry. That is the beauty of what we do, is we don't sell products, we sell service. We offer our service. So that was the first, for me, eye-opener. I'm almost at 40 years doing this. And along the way, I came to the conclusion that I don't have a boss. I have many, 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 many bosses. Every customer that calls me is a boss. And so for the people, you know, for the realtors out there, or people thinking about getting into real estate who believe you're going to be your own boss, that is a misconception. Throw that out the window. Ain't gonna fly if you want to be successful at being a realtor. You need to understand service first.
Okay, Liz, how about you? Because you've been doing this a lot. You talk to a lot of people, and probably because of the success that we've had with this segment right here, you get noticed a lot out in the community. I know a lot of people think you're taller than you actually are.
That's correct.
But as far as the scope of your responsibility, what do people maybe think?
I've been in the business close to 30 years myself. And the type of work we do, as Gina puts it, yes, if you were one of our clients, you are the boss. We are trained, we learn. Good realtors have to keep educating themselves because times change, rules change, policies change. So we have to continue to take educational courses to stay on top of our game, as well as stay on top of technology. But we are advisors to our clients. If you're selling a piece of property, we don't dictate what that price would be. And we would do our research based on what the market is doing. And then we can advise you as a client, this is what the market looks like. But in the end, bottom line, the decision comes from you. If you agree with what we've come up with, you are the boss. And if we say it's priced at $500,000, but you say, I want $600,000, what do we do? I can only give you the update on information in the market, but the bottom line is we have to listen to you, the client, and we can provide information, give you some guidance. And yes, with all the years between Gina and myself, we're always putting our heads together because sometimes one has a better answer than what I have to solve a particular problem. But yes, there is that misconception that realtors, it's all about the money, and that's all we do is work to get the money, and that's not true. Because there are times
it is a very lucrative one. There is very real potential for you to do quite well financially if you grind and if you really do your job the right way and have a big client list. And I was going to ask you ladies this exactly because I remember on Guam in the early and mid 2000s, there were a lot of people like my age, right? I'm 50 now, so when a lot of my peers were like in their late 20s, early 30s, a lot of people were trying to study up and get their real estate license because they just thought it was this industry where you only work literally 3 hours a week and you'll make like 100K like a year. A lot of people made that assumption, and then 2008 happened and the housing market fell apart, and that really left a lot of those of you who really weathered the storm.
One thing I have to say, talk about weathering the storm. The market goes up, it goes down. If you are a full-time realtor, you don't worry about, because you're always there to provide a service in good times and in bad. And there's always someone looking to buy, there's always someone looking to sell. However, if you are just doing the work part-time, then that's hard to serve your clients or your customers. If you are a full-time agent, there's more impact in the work that you do. But again, they used to say, oh, the market is bad. Well, it's never bad for Gina and myself because it's a passion. We're always doing the work. And it doesn't matter, weekends, days, weekdays, weekends, we're 24/7. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and like I said, all of those peers of mine that just got into it because they thought it was going to be like a nice little side hustle, minimal effort, maximal game, none of them are there anymore because they just had a wrong perception what we're talking about here today. So, Gina, I'd like to ask you, in all the decades that you've been working on this, going on 4 now, as you said, what has been maybe the golden era or the high point of the market like on Guam? Was it in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, or we talked about like the 2008 financial crisis time and everything, but what has been a period of like peak productivity?
Jason, I never look at it that way. It's pretty consistent. Real estate is consistent. It's like the food industry. Everyone always needs a place to stay at all times. That's a given. So it never, there are occasions, there are periods in our timetable where it's easier to accomplish that in time, and periods where it's harder. Like recently, I believe it's gotten really hard to get into decent housing because of the cost of our rentals are really high right now. The cost to build is high.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
The innovation you've been waiting for is here. Built on the 16X Cheez-It platform, it's the first flavor matrix stable enough to make a Cheez-It tostada possible and cheesy enough to power the Crunch Wrap. Because if you want to change the world, you have to bring something big to the table. Think big.
The cost to maintain properties is high, so that translates into cost of renting is high. Because when it's costing your landlords a lot of money to keep the building in good condition, you're going to have to somehow, everything trickles down. Unless you're renting from your family member who's willing to discount the rent, people have to make a certain amount of money in order for them to be willing to be landlords, because it's not an easy job. And anybody who owns real estate, any owner that has real estate, you're holding onto that property either to pass it down, but in the meantime, if you can't afford to keep it because you can't pay for the expenses, it's going to rot away because you're not maintaining it. So people end up converting it to a rental in the hopes of maybe someday giving it to their children. So in that regard, for me, I believe that Liz said it earlier, the market is always constant. Yes, there are better years. It's easier to get paid for the service you're giving in some years. And you do a lot of it because it's easier to do it. The year it's a good real estate year, but recently it hasn't been like that. And
then again, we're coming off a 3-year pandemic or a global plague, effectively, and then only a year later, like a calendar year later, we had a major typhoon, which around here, it's going to take like 2 or 3 years to recover from, and that's just the nature of where we live.
Yeah, and we work for the owners, and so when owners come to us to talk to us about real estate, I mean, there have been occasions where Liz and I have sat down and looked at their numbers and said, listen, maybe it's a good idea if you hold on. I've actually had conversations with sellers where I've said, hold on. You actually don't really need to sell. If you sell, what's going to happen? But at the end of the day, like Liz said, they are our bosses. And, we have to understand that not everybody can afford to hold on to their property. Some people have medical issues. Some people just want to sell and make money. Yes, make money. That is not an ugly word. Making money was supposedly everybody's goal at one point. Now, when I talk to certain people, they make it like wanting to make money and be rich is an ugly thing. It is not. I've never desired to be poor. Been there, done that, and it's not pretty. No. And so, being rich is much better. And so, when we meet people and that's their goal, we can't hold on to our real estate. We don't want to pass it down to the kids. We want to sell it and go live it up or go take care of our medical issues or take care of this family or that. That is not a bad thing. And we commend them for it. And our job is to do the best we can to help them meet and accomplish that goal. And we're going
if I could have studied computer science at MIT, I would have done that. But you know what? I couldn't afford it. That's a really, really tough school. And it's really, really expensive.
That's right. That's right.
I'm sure if you had the real estate assets and you could have said, listen, I'm going to sell my real estate assets to accomplish this goal, you might have done that. But you know what? It's not my business to ask what the goal is or what they're trying to do. My goal is to accomplish what the seller wants to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, Liz, what is the general attitude? Because of course you've been in leadership with the Guam Association of Realtors too, in addition to running your own brokerage as you guys do now. But what is the general consensus of the members of the association on what their role is within the industry and then the larger the macroeconomy of Guam?
I think as realtors, we all have the same, of course, personalities are different. Ways of conducting business is different. But in general, realtors act on a code of conduct and ethics, and we're governed by that. And when a realtor violates those ethics, then a grievance is presented and the board will have to deal with that. But I would love to say in general, everyone would operate with the highest of integrity and ethics. But again, there may be cases where that does not happen. But in general, between Gina and myself, we want to do what's right. And I want to talk about property rights. If you owned a piece of property, it's your right to either rent it, sell it, and make money on it. And if I were to infringe on that right, sometimes there's talk about the government infringing on your property rights. I really think that is unfair. Both Gina and I think no one should infringe on your property rights. As realtors, our job is to help you get maximum rental value on your property. And she said, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your right to do whatever you choose to.
You live a better life. Who's going to complain about that?
Exactly. And our role is to tell you, here's the comps. Gina and I do not pull figures from the air. We always look at, okay, what were the similar type properties that sold or rented? And those are the facts we present to you. So if I tell you, well, you can get $2,400 a month on your rental, but you say, well, I want $2,800. Again, you're dictating you want $2,800. So we can put it on the market. And you know what? There are cases where the price may have been inflated, but there's a market for it. Someone rents it. They're happy with it. What's wrong with that?
Let me ask you, I don't want to say the integrity, but the role, and that's why we're talking about it today. The role of realtors on Guam hasn't necessarily been questioned, but I mean it's been brought up in the legislature recently because of this, the decedent parental subdivision property issue, which continues to be like a thing right now. What is the pulse of the realtor community right now, in how they're it's being assumed that like they're being framed, either whether it's it's crass capitalism or whether it's there's nefarious intent and everything? Are the realtors kind of like corralling together and saying like this is what we chose to do, or is it kind of like offense at being labeled in a certain way?
It's of course offensive, but like the community at large, Jason, there's only a very small handful of people showing up at the legislature, not because they're not being impacted or affected by this bill or the inability of the legislature to pass the bill, but because they're afraid. They don't want to be there because they don't want to be seen there protesting, because that seems to be how it's perceived, that we're actually down there protesting. We've been down there encouraging doing the right thing. And the realtors are the same. They're a reflection of the public. There aren't enough of us showing up down there. More than I expected have come down there in support of this bill.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
In times of uncertainty, trust is what leads the way. The Medical City, your trusted partner in health.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day. I'm Claire Calvo, bringing you your weekly renewal. Today, I am here with Dr. Luan Wen, who is a board-certified doctor in family medicine, as well as aesthetics, and some new interesting, he's moving into some integrative, more holistic territory as well. So excited to hear about that. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you just start off by giving us an idea of what inspired you to, well, of course, as a doctor, but move into holistic health?
Sure. So I've always, I think, been interested in holistic medicine and trying to find out more of the regenerative ways how our own body can repair itself, regenerate, and get over certain illnesses or diseases, right? So I had a lot of injured patients or patients with chronic pain or any kind of pain or functional disabilities, and I couldn't get anyone into physical therapy, and it could be like a month of waiting. So I decided to try this out and be able to have more faster patient engagement into physical therapy.
Awesome.
But also like the idea of just not only relying on medications for improving pain or any sports injuries, but rather use physical therapy. And from there, I wanted to hopefully build on other modalities that I believed in, whether it's acupuncture or work with chiropractors, use supplementations to help with that process. So I've always kind of had that interest in how do I combine East with West, Chinese medicine, and learning about that and see how we can incorporate those philosophies with the modern technology, which is great, but I think they do lack in certain things. I think a lot of times modern medicine right now focuses a lot about at the end point and maybe treating a little bit about the symptoms rather than getting to the root cause. So I wanted to see how we can use both modalities or both philosophies to take care of the person as a whole.
And so right now at Nugent, what are some of the services and the different practices that you offer?
Right. So right now, our core practice is physical therapy. We've had health coaching for some time, but that's on hold right now. And we also have personal training. We had massage in the past. So it's kind of waiting based on personnel and staff. It's hard to always recruit the type of specialties. So. But I've always wanted to expand that in terms of augmenting Western medicine through Nugent.
Well, June is also Father's Day. We have Father's Day, and I know it's Men's Health Awareness Month. Is there anything you would like to share specifically to men?
Maybe what might be helpful is, or what the message I want to put out is, if you do really care about your family, your wives or your partner, or your children, I think you have to embrace the mentality where you have to take care of your health, right? Because this day and age, medical care is getting really expensive. So it's always a lot cheaper to catch things at the front end, right? Catch it at the pre-diabetic level, or when you have mild coronary disease, something that's early on, or even cancer that might be early when it's not metastasized everywhere. So that's a lot cheaper to treat. I wanted to give that message to really go after that, a preventative, and start with just a physical and get the basic labs first. And that's kind of the main message I want to put out. If that still doesn't resonate, I think one thing that will resonate maybe for the men is erectile dysfunction or being able to perform in the bed. And I think a lot of people don't make that connection where diabetes or smoking is probably the top two causes of erectile dysfunction. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. So, so getting these testing and to take care of your health in that way is, I think, the best way to be able to perform in the bedroom.
Thank you for joining us. Join us next week for our next part of this two-part series.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo's Select Care.
Find a plan that goes with your flow. Get unlimited local talk, text, and data at the most affordable rate with Unlimited Flow Postpaid.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
The recent Hafaday Pacific Medical Conference brought together physicians from the School of Medicine at Loma Linda University with the local wellness community. A theme was encouraging patients to adopt lifestyle changes and, in some cases, make the conscious choice to reverse their condition. Let's start with their philosophy on simple solutions.
There are some simple solutions that are not good solutions, all right? So I don't want to make it seem as if it's simple, then it has to be good, all right? The other issue is that even the medical communities around the world haven't embraced some of the simplicity of what we're talking about, because that's not what's taught in medical school, it's not what's taught in nursing school and the other health professional schools. So even though we're not breaking new ground, what we're doing is we're helping people to shift their paradigm, to be able to look at alternatives that are effective, evidence-based.
So, you know, a lot of our focus this conference was talking about what we can do lifestyle-wise to help improve, because I understand not everybody wants to just get a medication or a treatment or things like that. So we focus more on lifestyle and looking at what's happening here on Guam. We look at the specific diseases that are higher here, such as diabetes, gastroesophageal reflux disease, obesity. All those things can be addressed with lifestyle recommendations. And so, you know, it's difficult because there's two types of people. One that want to come in and just give me a medication and, you know, and I don't want to have to put a lot of effort into it. Others would say, give me something that's more permanent long-term that I could work on my lifestyle. Because let's face it, lifestyle changes take effort, right? And commitment.
A big topic was the control of diabetes and how the pandemic affected people's health due to lockdown eating habits.
The amount of dialysis units have been increasing in the last years here in the island. And that is kind of very concerning because it is kind of the manifestations of how are we taking care of ourselves in the overall. Kidney disease is preventable. As a matter of fact, during the COVID years, people actually ate better because they eat at home. They stop eating fast food. Fast food is the enemy. We have to be careful with that. Fast food has a lot of salt, a lot of preservatives, and the processed food is not good for our organism. It's better to eat at home. During the COVID years, we saw that the parameters that we measure in the overall health were better because people were cooking at home.
Further still, respiratory health was covered.
Respiratory illnesses are almost starting to have a twist, so to speak, on the way that, one, we're diagnosing, but two, what we're noticing is that our environment, the way we eat, what we're exposed to are all contributing to what we would say is breathlessness. And the thing about being short of breath is that it's multifactorial. Sometimes we're short of breath not because of just the lungs, but it could be because of the heart, it could be because of another organ system. And you can imagine it's hard to tease that out. So we need specialists to help us out to be able to figure out what is exactly causing that shortness of breath.
And because we Guamanians really love our food, a big part of the forum dealt with gastrointestinal concerns as well.
Our one particular topic was GERD, or gastroesophageal reflux disease, or just heartburn. Another one that we focused on was on fatty liver. There are certain foods that can do it, and the ones that are highly associated are going to be carbonated drinks, fatty foods, tobacco, alcohol, caffeine, chocolate, even some tomato products and citrus. When they looked at spicy food, they did a study out of South America and they measured acid levels after eating spicy food, and they saw it didn't change. But what the perception was that it actually caused more sensation of heartburn. And so, yes, you can eat your spicy food. It's going to give you the sensation of heartburn, but it's not necessarily destroying your acid, interestingly enough.
So let's wrap up with a visiting physician's thoughts on improving care. It's sound, honest advice that we can all apply today.
It's intuitive, but what I will admit is that it is hard to be able to try to go back to the way that we were created in the way that we were because of just culture and just where we're at, and finance actually gets in the way too. But there are tips and things that can be done.
Now, it wouldn't be fair to say that you have diabetes because you want to have it. What I'm saying is that most people, even though they have things that predispose them to having diabetes, they don't have to make the choices that will make that diabetes appear to be as bad as it is. We say that the genetics and all of the things that go before, they may load the gun, but how we live is what pulls the trigger.
Being at home is good. It's actually good. Okay, go and eat out once in a while. It's not a problem. But sometimes people have the habit to eat outside all the time, and that's not good for anybody. We just have to enjoy our food, learn how to have good habits, and share with our family a good meal.
So I think they were very engaged, they were very interested, lots of questions on the topics that we were talking about, with excellent questions as well. So I think it was a very good interactive and hopefully educational experience for everybody.
Health Check is brought to you locally by Island Cancer Center.
Catch Health, Home, and Lifestyle every Tuesday following KUAM News Prime Time. We've got you covered with health and lifestyle news each Tuesday on the stations of KUAM and our digital streaming platforms. Health, Home, and Lifestyle is brought to you by the Medical City, your trusted partner in health.